take on the fact that the immigration piece came so late in the speech and that really on the border security issue, which is also national security, was not really addressed?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not surprising that one of the biggest failures of the first 100 days is something that they've ignored. I don't think there's any dispute that it's a crisis. I don't think there's any dispute that it was something that was caused by the decisions that they made. You know, when you take over the presidency and you announce, I'm going to do everything the opposite of the previous president, that's a signal to people that's going to be easier to get in, almost permissive. And whether that's true in law or not is irrelevant. That's the perception. That perception leads to actions. These are desperate people living in horrible conditions. We sympathize with them, we really do. But we can't have an uncontrolled situation on the border, which is what it's become. So yeah, he doesn't highlight it, he kind of glosses over it, and it doesn't surprise me he's passed it on to the vice president too, by the way. I mean, it's you know, something probably he doesn't want to be associated or identified with directly.
Senator, I thought one of the more telling comments from yesterday was during a lunch with some of the TV anchors. That's tradition for the president to have at the White House on the day of the State of the Union speech. And here was the quote toward the end, on the record now. He said, we talk about, you know, can you unite the parties? Well, I united the Democratic Party, and no one thought it could happen, and pretty damn quickly. So his party has moved to the left, and Joe Biden has moved with them. So how do we come around to understanding what a lot of people thought was a centrist, center-left politician who has proposed $2 trillion packages for the American people?
Yeah, look, that's where the energy in the Democratic Party is. The energy, the activism, the money all comes from the far left of the Democratic Party. That's their base. And so that's where he needs to move to. Now, maybe he's not a natural in that spot, but it's irrelevant. He's become a vessel for them to do things, and that's why you see his policies move in that direction. He's also, by the way, populated his administration with people that come from the far left. So irrespective about what his personal feelings or his history in politics may be, it's his actions that matter now. And look, a lot of the things he talked about yesterday are things that I think most Americans agree with. I personally believe we need to have more pro-family policies. It's the most important unit in the entire society. And that's why for years I've been proposing pro-family policies. But I think they have to be the right ones. Just saying we're going to spend $1 trillion on this doesn't mean you care more. It means you're going to spend more of other people's money, taxpayer money, and run up the debt. Look, there's going to be a lot of spending involved no matter what we do, but it should be on the right things, and it should be measured, not simply just, you know, if you're going to spend $1 trillion, I'm going to spend $1.5 trillion. I mean, that's silliness, and I think most people understand just because you spend more on something in and of itself does not mean your idea is better or you care more about it than anybody else does.
I want to get your take on two things about Senator Tim Scott, your colleague. Here he is talking about voting, and because that's a really big issue. Joe Biden did talk about H.R. 1, which is the Democrats' push for voting rules that they want to implement. Here's Tim Scott.
It will be easier to vote early in Georgia than in Democrat-run New York. But the left doesn't want you to know that. They want people virtue signaling by yelling about a law they haven't even read.
How contentious is this issue up there on the Hill?
Well, I think it's a factor because I think embedded in that is this notion. You've heard references to Jim Crow and segregation and racial hatred and the like, and that, you know, obviously that's why people care about it. One of the worst things you can call anybody today, and rightfully so, is the label of racist, and yet that's what's implied in all of these voting law changes. The bottom line is that I think the vast majority of Americans have no problem with showing an identification before they vote. They do it all the time to board an airplane. They do it to check into a hotel room. They do it to get into office buildings in many cases. And you know, where I live, you can't even go to the garbage dump without showing ID to prove you live in that community and pay taxes there. So people are done that. This is one example of the kinds of things that people look at and say, what's the big deal? But they make it all sound like it's somehow designed to repress votes.
One last question. Senator Tim Scott, also last night, as I think we've talked about on the show so far, on Twitter, while he was doing his speech, someone used a racial slur on Twitter, went everywhere, calling him Uncle Tim. Twitter did not suppress that. They have now actually, this morning, the topic has disappeared from the trending sites in line with their policies, but it took 11 hours to get that done.
Well, I think at this point, there's no doubt there's a double standard. Look, I've seen Senator Scott go through this a number of times already. It's ugly. But the problem here is not that Twitter doesn't take it down. The problem here is that they take it down when it's against Democrats or the left, but they don't do it, or are slower to do it when it's against the conservative or the right. That's the problem, and that's the hypocrisy here. And it's unfortunate. I've seen it. And one thing we've learned for sure is that the left is for tolerance, except for tolerance of anyone who disagrees with them or doesn't say what they want. Then they're intolerant. it's sort of, that's not tolerance.
Senator, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Please come back soon. A lot to talk about.
Look forward
Marco
to it.
Rubio, thank
Absolutely.
you.